Hello there puzzlers, thanks for joining me today. Now this is quite a long form video. I think it's going to be 2.5 hours by the time it's finished. This is basically a Ravensburger puzzle called Morning Greenhouse. It's one of the first video series that I did. When I first started out, probably to do with confidence and everything, I was only doing 10-minute sections. So each video was about 10 minutes. And some of them I was just chatting through, and others I'd just do a whole sort of quiet puzzling session. So I was just really trying to get my bearings with how this channel was going to evolve, I guess, at the time. And I'm thinking now it doesn't really fit with my channel, because a lot of people prefer the longer format, 40 minutes, an hour. So these little 10-minute sections, they're just not really enough, I find. So what I've done is I've remastered it, and I've put it all into one big puzzle along with me session. And it's the Morning Greenhouse puzzle from Ravensburger. I actually don't have the puzzle anymore because I sold it. So I will put a little picture up on the screen here so you can see which one it is. But yeah, if you'd like to watch this, or if you'd like to pick up the puzzle and puzzle along with me as I build this puzzle, that would be great. All right, I'll let you move on to the video now so you can have a watch and watch me put this puzzle together. Do go easy on me. It was one of my first videos, so I'm probably not as I'm a bit quieter and probably not quite as confident as I am now. Not that I feel confident at all, but you know, I'm sure you understand what I mean. All right, take care. Bye.
Good morning, puzzlers. Welcome to Puzzle Corner. It's lovely to have you here with me today, and I'm going to be starting on my new jigsaw puzzle, the Ravensburger 500-piece Greenhouse Morning. Set that up there. Now, let's get sorting. Might just put a little tray out here so we can start capturing these greenhouse pieces. If you're joining me for the first time, this is Puzzle Corner, where I just sit quietly, relax, and do my puzzle. Sometimes we might have a little chat about things, see how it unfolds, really. Enjoying these little greenhouse pieces. We're going to have quite a collection of those, I think. It's funny how when you're sorting, it feels very important to focus on the sort. I want to start looking at these and thinking, oh, will any of these fit? But I'm like, no, I've got to sort them first. Unless they just happen to fall into my lap and be so obvious they go together that you can't ignore them. I tend to try and stay away from putting pieces together. I do like the flowers. That's a bit. Thought we might talk a little bit today about having our needs met. I think when we don't have our needs met as a child, you see, now look that bit, Oh, you see, I couldn't avoid that, could I? Then yeah, well, it feels like our needs can get quite suppressed. I certainly feel as a child that you know, my needs were suppressed. So one of the big things for me in my house was that I wasn't allowed to have an opinion, speak even. My dad was very much, you know, his voice was the only one that was heard really, and I was very much shut down. And I didn't realise it back then, but basically lost my voice. I became a people pleaser because I think that's what happens. You're just so desperate to not upset anybody that you just listen to what everybody else wants, and you learn how to fulfill everybody else's needs but not your own. We'll talk about being a people pleaser in another video because that's a whole different conversation. But yeah, I feel like there was a point in my 40s, I think, maybe late 30s, where I was having therapy, and my therapist asked me what my needs were, and I was like, what? I don't have needs. I don't have any needs. No, but what do you need to make you happy? Well, I like to make everybody else happy. That's what makes me happy. No. It doesn't work like that, I'm afraid. That's not healthy. Because the point is, you can never make other people happy. And sometimes you can do everything in your power to try and make them happy, but you still can't achieve it, and it's generally at your own cost. But the key is, if you can focus on meeting your own needs and making sure your own needs are being met, that makes you a happier person, and that actually makes you easier to be around, funnily enough. But it's interesting how, as children, even sometimes when our parents are trying to meet our needs, I think what actually is happening is sometimes they're trying to meet they're trying to meet the needs that they felt didn't get met when they were a child, without actually realizing that their child might not have the same needs. Does that make sense? I don't know. Yeah, it's a very complicated business sometimes, I think. And I think when we're young, especially when there's lots going on and we're putting ourselves in potentially difficult relationship situations, we tend to just learn to ignore our own needs. We shut them off. We don't listen anymore. We don't have any needs, you know. We don't even think about it until one day somebody says, "What are your needs?" And then you're like, "Oh, am I allowed to have needs? Okay, well, let me really think about that." And I did really think about that. I did go away and actually wrote down what I sort of started to think my needs were. And that's a nice bit. It's kind of greenhouse here, I think, so I'm going to put that in there. I think a lot of it as well comes back to that self-worth. You know, when you don't have any self-worth, or when you don't feel that you matter, or that you don't feel seen, or you don't feel heard, you kind of just have no sense of who you are. And part of the process really is actually acknowledging that we are worth something. We are worthy, you know. I'm worth having my needs met and having to think about what my needs are. I deserve that, you know, I'm not a bad person. I do everything I can to try and look after the people around me, make sure my family are looked after. I do my best. And I've certainly realised I can't do any more than that. But yeah, I mean, I think, not surprisingly, one of my needs is that I need to feel heard. I've been brought up where I had no voice and I had my voice taken away from me. I now feel very much like I need to be heard, and I need people to actually listen to how I feel and actually give me the chance to speak up. I know I do find speaking up quite hard, but I try to make a real effort now to say how I feel about things, or to have a voice, because I think it's also easy to feel like you're not being heard, but at the same time you're not actually speaking up. So how can you be heard if you're not speaking up? It's funny, you know, I had a conversation with my boss the other day. We're working on this new system, and you know, I've kind of let it be known maybe a little bit that I wasn't too sure about this new system, but during my one-to-one I did a whole report about, you know, my concerns, and he said to me, you know, I'm so glad you've spoken up, because I really thought you were just completely on board with everything. So even though I've been making these little noises, shall we say, about my concerns, it wasn't enough. And I get that. I really do get that, because I do know that sometimes I expect people to be mind readers. I expect them to know how I feel. But the reality is that people don't know how you feel unless you tell them. And you have to be really clear with people. And I think lots of us get frustrated that we're not heard, when we're not really using our voices to make ourselves be heard. Probably out of fear. Oh, outside piece. But yeah, so my main need is that I need to be heard. I need somebody to actually listen. And then I also feel like one of my needs is that I need to be given priority. I need to feel like I matter, especially in a relationship. It's quite important to me that in my relationship we put each other first, and there's things going on. It doesn't mean at the expense of other people, of course, but it means that we know each other well enough to know that whatever the other one is trying to achieve, it comes from a good place, because we're both good people. And that hasn't always been the case in my relationships. Oh, it's another little bit already together. Nearly there. But yeah, have a think about what are your needs. It's like a jigsaw, isn't it? Like, the need is not being met there. You can see it's the wrong piece. It's not going in. You need to find the right pieces. What are your needs? Maybe ask yourself that question this week and have a think about them and write them down. Are you worthy of needs, do you feel? Do you feel that you're worth needs? You deserve to have needs? I mean, I can tell you that you do. Whether you believe that right now or not, you do. Just have a pause this week. Have a think. Give yourself some headspace, because we all get wrapped up in life. And think about, what are my needs? And are they being met? And if they're not being met, well, that's a whole nother conversation.
We've got all of the outside pieces ready to go, so I'm just going to put these trays away now. I'm doing the inside bits, which we'll be coming back to later. I'm going to have to turn them all over, so I really can't bear it when they're all up the wrong way. I think come back to that. So, now we've got all our outside pieces. Let's get started. I do love putting the outside pieces together. It really is the starting point of any jigsaw for me. It's almost like it creates a little protective outer layer to keep all the other pieces safe. I'm enjoying this puzzle. I'm actually quite excited to get started on the greenhouse bits. I can see this bit across the top here. Here. I bet it's going to be really nice to do. I guess it's where you'd normally find the sky, but we have the top of a greenhouse. Anyway, I would love to hear, goes that way. I would love to hear what you guys are working on, what puzzles you're doing, and what's your favourite puzzles to do. I'd love to get some comments in the comments section. Just let me know what you enjoy doing. And also to let me know what you think of these videos and if you're finding them, helpful or any feedback. It's always good. Where's this bit go? Just go over this side. It does. Okay then. And we've got to look for the outside edge, which is going to be that bit. There. So I was thinking, what would we talk about today? And I was thinking that I'd quite like to talk about people pleasing. Many of us can probably relate to people pleasing. Certainly something I did a lot when I was younger, and to be honest, I don't think you ever quite lose it if you have that kind of in you from a child. And I think it often comes from a place of not feeling maybe valued enough, not feeling heard, not feeling seen. Maybe it comes from there. Be interested to hear your comments if you feel that you are in that similar place. But what I've realised as I've got older is that there's a negative side to people pleasing as well. So that's something we all need to watch out for, really. Is how it can actually be impacting us in a negative way. Obviously, anyone who's a people pleaser or has that sort of notion in them, you know, they're just trying to look after everybody else. They're trying to make sure their needs are met. They're trying to make other people happy. The problem is, and what you often find, is that they're actually trying to make everybody else happy other than themselves. So if you ask them what would make you happy, they would say, well, I want to make everyone else happy. Making everyone else happy, that makes me happy. But it's really not quite that simple. Because the reality is we can never truly make somebody else happy 100% of the time. It's just not feasible. So then, when, you know, what we do can work for quite a while, we can keep them happy, it can all be good, but then when they become unhappy, we start to internalise it then. Well, what we're doing wrong, we need to do more. Why aren't we enough? Why aren't we enough to make them happy? What do we need to do? So we try harder and harder, and you end up with this sort of spiral where you feel like it doesn't matter what you do, it will never be enough. You probably hear yourself saying that sometimes. Why is it that nothing I do is enough? I try so hard. I do this, that and the other. It's never enough. But the reality is, like I said, you can't make somebody else happy. It's just not possible to make them happy all of the time. So being a people pleaser, it's a bit of an impossible task really that we set ourselves on. And it is a way of kind of hiding, I think. Hiding away from ourselves. Because the real questions we should be asking is, what would make me happy? What do I need to do to make myself happy? Because 9 times out of 10, if you can focus on making yourself happy, then those around you will be happier. Because you have a better sense of self, a better sense of who you are, and they know where they stand with that. It's probably quite exhausting for the people when you're constantly trying to make them happy, to be honest. That goes over that sound, that's why we're struggling there. The other thing with people pleasing is we are pretty much prioritising everybody else over ourselves. Everybody else's needs are important and not ours. Because we don't feature, we don't figure. The hidden cost of people pleasing to ourselves is that it is exhausting. It's exhausting. You end up feeling ignored. You end up feeling maybe a bit resentful because you think, well, why are they not seeing me? Why are they not seeing all that I'm doing? If you could just make a small little shift. Instead of thinking, what do I need to do to make someone else happy? Just think about, what do I need to do to make myself happy? What do I need? Where do I feature? You know, it's all about making the pieces fit in life, isn't it? Just like with this jigsaw. When we're focusing on other people's happiness, we're not really putting the pieces in the right place. So we're trying to put pieces together that don't really necessarily serve us well. And then we can just make a slight shift. Think, okay. Instead of thinking about what everybody else needs today, I'm going to think about what I need today. That, for me, certainly been a step towards feeling happier in myself. You never lose the people pleasing. I still do it, but I also still, you know, do it wrong, so to speak. I overstretch myself. I promise things I can't always deliver because I really want to do what the other person is asking of me, even if it's, you know. So but I am much more mindful. I'm really mindful when I do it. I just think, no, come on, you can't achieve that. Now, you see how nicely it is when the puzzle all fits together? That is pretty much life. Get all the pieces in the right place. Put yourself first. Think about, what do I need? Think about, how can I make myself happy instead of everybody else all of the time? Put the focus on you, and everything else falls into place. Now we've got our lovely little tray of greenhouse. So you can just sit back and relax. This is a quiet space where we can just have a little chat and watch as the puzzle progresses. I don't really need to take much notice of what I'm saying. I'm just having a little chat with myself sometimes, just sharing thoughts. Nice bit. Where does that bit go? I think it goes up there actually. There's a little, actually not greenhouse, I don't think. I think that is a bit of the fish tank. No, I can't be sure actually, because it looks like it might come in a bit more later. It might come in a bit here. Well, actually no, maybe even a bit up here. So we'll leave that there for now. There we go. It's connecting. I thought I'd talk a little bit today about the pressure that we all carry. I know myself, sometimes I get to the end of the day and I think, oh, I've not achieved anything today. I've not got enough done. I didn't get through enough work. I forgot to do this, I forgot to do that. And that's even sometimes when it's a Sunday, not even just on a working day. Because you know, our weekends are so precious. Sometimes I can give myself quite a list of things I want to get through over the weekend. And then give myself a nice little hard time if I don't achieve it, or I don't think I've achieved enough. And sometimes we dismiss those days that don't look productive enough and think, oh, it's a waste of a day. All that time I've lost, I could have been doing this or that or the other. But then sometimes I think, you know, maybe that day was just exactly as it was supposed to be. Maybe that day was more about taking it a little bit easy, taking a bit more of a rest. As I'm getting older, I'm certainly realising that my body does need more rest, need more recovery time, as they say. And I forget, you know, I think I do, like I said, have, I don't know if it's ADHD or autism. I think I'm on that spectrum somewhere. Certainly all my children are. But I can have a tendency of, you know, waking up, or actually they're not waking up. I don't actually, sometimes I just can't sleep. So it can get to 3 a.m. or 2 a.m. and I think, you know what, this is just ridiculous. I need to get up. And I'll come down and I'll do some work or catch up with some paperwork, or, you know, and I can be up for 2 or 3 hours before I finally get back to sleep. And then I do have the best sleep. When I do that, I do find I go into really deep sleep after that. But obviously I've lost sleep. And I think I forget sometimes, maybe that day where I'm thinking, oh, I've not achieved enough today, or I've not done enough. Yeah, that is just my body's way of saying, you know what, you need a break today. We're not going to achieve quite so much today, it's fine, we need that. I do think it's really important that we listen to our bodies, because generally they do know what it is that we need. If we can tune into what our bodies are saying, they're normally pretty spot on. Instead of listening to that voice that's constantly telling us we're not doing enough, or we should have achieved more. What if today is enough? What if whatever you've done today, whatever you've achieved today, what if you just get to the end of the day and say, you know what, it was enough what I did today. And that's okay. What if we could get to the end of every day and just think, today was enough. What I did today was enough. Didn't need to do any more or any less. Sometimes I think rest is seen as something we have to earn, you know. So it's fine if you went up to the gym for 2 hours and then you've come home and you're having a rest. What if you didn't go to the gym for 2 hours and you just thought, today I'm going to have a rest day? And you might think, well, a rest day from what? You know, a rest day from life. Because life, every day we all have busy lives going on, with work and family and commitments, and maybe some days we just need a day of rest. Time to let ourselves slow down, let our brains slow down. I like this little bit here. That's nice. If I can find any more of those, that could be. No, that's going over here, isn't it? No, that definitely is. Yep. Don't know if there's much more. Oh yeah. you need to think about life in the same way as a jigsaw. These little pieces of the days. Some days and some pieces are busier than others. Some pieces don't have so much going on. But to get to the end of the puzzle, all of the pieces matter. You don't have to keep trying to do more. Some days it's just about getting through the day, isn't it? You know, some days just getting to the end of the day is enough without putting pressure on yourself to do more and more things. So I want to leave you with that thought today. Whatever's happened in your day today, whatever you've managed to get done or not get done, don't give yourself a hard time. Just think, today was enough. Today I was enough. Every day I am enough. I've made a little bit of progress today. And once I stop puzzling, I find it very hard to stop. So remember, today you are enough. Yeah. Every day you are enough. There's no pressure to listen. I'll have a little chat, but you don't need to tune in. You can just take some quiet time. Oh, I really thought that was going to go there, actually. There we go. Excellent. I thought I'd talk a little bit more about retirement today. Part of the first video that I shared. I guess it is something that's on my mind a lot, really. Trying to figure out how to get there, I guess. I feel like most of my life I've not even really given it much thought, to be honest. It's always felt like such a distant thing,
Now all of a sudden it feels, oh, look at that. Oh no, it's not going in. Oh, I'm sure of that one. Let me have a look. No. Yeah, it felt very distant, and now all of a sudden I find myself thinking about it a couple of times a week. I'm 53, so I know I've got 14 years left, but I have worked all of my life since I was 16, well probably 14 actually, in the fish and chip shop, and I don't know that I can do another 14 years. I feel, you know, I don't know, just tired. Certainly would hope to go part-time at some point in the next few years. More puzzle time would be lovely. Something I find very relaxing, doing a puzzle. If you've got a puzzle on the go right now, I'd love to hear what you're doing, what you're puzzling away at. I think the thing as well about retirement is generally I'm just getting from month to month, and that seems achievable, you know, working to get to the next paycheck. But with retirement, it feels a bit more overbearing, really. How am I going to sustain any kind of life? I don't have a pension. I've got the statutory pension now that they made everybody sign into a few years ago. But I mean, it is minimal. Certainly wouldn't sustain me. But you know, I guess it's okay not to have it all figured out. Still got plenty of time. That's what I keep telling myself. What's coming along? Another one. Hmm. I watch videos about retirement and I see these big numbers coming up, you know. Got to have £100,000 in a pension or lots of money put away in investments. Sometimes I think maybe when you get to that age you just sell the house, go and live in a caravan somewhere. Get away from the big bills and things you have to pay living in a house. You can see why people do that, definitely. There we go. Sometimes I think, is it too late? Have I left it too late? Is it too late now to try and catch up and create some kind of pension somehow or income somehow? Or do I just stay working forever? I guess that's the other option, isn't it? But then you also feel like there's going to come a point where, you know, you get made redundant or you no longer fit in the workplace. I'd love to hear from you if you've been through this in the last few years and you found some solutions and what you did to get yourself retirement ready. Or did you retire? Maybe you didn't. Maybe you found a way to stay doing something you really enjoyed doing. Hmm. Feeling a bit stuck. Maybe that's how I'm feeling in life, actually, a bit stuck. What way to go forward? That bit must be quite easy. Very. There we go. I love it when I find a bit that I'm specifically sure should be easy to find. Some bits are just very distinctive. Oh, I think this is coming in up here, is it? Or is it maybe that way around? Yes, lovely. I do just love puzzling away. Doing this channel has been great actually, because I've really got out of the habit. Oh, there we go. I really got out of the habit of doing puzzles. And it's something I really enjoy doing. I think I just didn't have the right setup. Didn't have the right table and the right chair and the right place to do it, but because I thought I'd create this channel to do my puzzles, I made me get everything set up and ready in how I wanted it, and now I feel like I've got a really nice space for doing puzzles. Has anybody else done this puzzle? I'd love to know how you found it. It's quite challenging. So now there we go with a big piece that's got a very distinctive bit through the middle. But I am struggling to find it. Just remember that you're not alone. I'm going to stay quiet now. I'll let the sounds continue. And you can join me and relax while we work on completing the puzzle. Thank you for spending this time with me.
Still lots to be done, but it's nice to see it gradually building. I hope you're enjoying spending time with me too and getting this all built up together. Oh, that's a nice piece in there. I thought we could talk today about something that I think people quietly beat themselves up over. Feeling lazy. This could be because you're not replying to messages, or maybe you're putting things off. Or it could be that you're struggling to start things that you genuinely care about. And I wanted to gently suggest something to you. You're probably not lazy. It's very likely that you're just overstimulated. So I'll just let that sit with you for a moment. To say that you're lazy, I mean, that suggests that you don't care. But most people that I know who call themselves lazy, they actually care deeply. They care so much, it's exhausting for them. What they're actually dealing with is a nervous system that never gets a break. All that constant decision making, constant responsibility. Constant, don't forget, you should, have you replied, what's next? It's exhausting. It's a lot to deal with. It's no wonder that sometimes we just think, I can't do any more, I need space, I need time out. Today I need to just do nothing. And that is actually okay. What if you could tell yourself that? That it's actually okay to do nothing. Instead of beating ourselves up over what we feel we should have done, actually just accepting that right now what we need is quiet. Just wondering how that is going to fit into there. Unless it goes. No. Well, that's a shame. It's certainly coming into there somewhere. I like that bit. When your brain gets overloaded, it doesn't shut down the important things first, it shuts down the optional things. Because the important things, work and earning money and getting up in the morning, making sure the kids are at school, those things have to carry on. So it shuts down creativity, joy, having the capacity to start something new. That's what gets shut down. So you sit there knowing what you want to do, listing all the things out in your head that you feel you should be doing, and you feel completely unable to begin. And then you start to tell yourself that you're lazy, that you should be doing this and you should be doing that. Oh, I think that actually goes that way. I'm going to get a bit of a hit here. Love that. That isn't laziness. I want you to really hear that when I say that. It's not laziness. It's simply your nervous system trying to protect itself. Our bodies are so intuitive. They know what we need and when we need it. But we're also very good at trying to override that and do what we think we should be doing. And the really difficult part is when we feel like we're being lazy, we can start to be really mean to ourselves and call ourselves horrible names and make ourselves feel bad. And that's just a self-perpetuating situation. Because you're already feeling bad, because you're already feeling that you're not doing enough or you're lazy. Then we start to tell ourselves even more that we're not doing enough and we should be doing more, calling ourselves names. Sometimes all we need really is fewer inputs, fewer decisions, permission to just be, just take the time we need and feel it, that's okay. We're not going to beat ourselves up about it. Sometimes even 5 minutes of quiet can be enough. Now I've got to get some pieces laid out in drawers now so that we can start to look at all the pieces of the puzzle that need doing. Hope you don't mind sitting quietly while we just sort these puzzle pieces out. I'm sure we'll find some more flowers, baskets. There's a bit there. If you find that today you didn't do the thing that you thought you should have done, you didn't return the message that's been sitting in your phone for the last 5 days, you woke up this morning thinking, I'm definitely going to reply today, and you didn't. You got your job list together this morning of what you were going to work through. You didn't get to it. I just want to remind you that's not being lazy. You're not lazy. I hope you can really hear that. You're not lazy. You're not broken. we're just tired in a world that never stops. Next time you hear that little voice saying that you're lazy, telling you that you've not done enough, just remind yourself that's not true. You're doing the best you can right now. It's great to see this coming along, quietly building. Quietly growing. And there's no pressure. No pressure at all. It can take as long as it needs to. Oh, thought that went there, but it didn't. Okay. I'm getting a few coming in now. feel like this puzzle is really starting to take shape now. But I'm also feeling a little bit of pressure. So I've done a few videos recording this jigsaw build, and I feel like maybe people will start to get bored and not want to watch such a slow build of a jigsaw. But I am really enjoying it. Nice bit in there. There we go, got all the top finished now. Just clip him on there. It's going to come in. Oh yeah, just there.
I do like having them all laid out in the trays. It's really a bit of a game changer, doing jigsaws with the trays. You can get to see everything all laid out nicely. I wonder when you're doing jigsaws, do you use trays? Have you tried using them yet? Is it something you like or don't like? I was thinking today we could talk about being able to go at our own pace. I think that's feeling the pressure of having to get this completed in this video, and then realising, well, no, I don't need to do that. It's okay to take a little bit of time on it. I'm enjoying it. And that's the purpose, isn't it? For me, that's the purpose, to enjoy the quiet time. Sitting here puzzling. It's funny how we all get hooked up and looking at, how our friends are progressing, how everyone else is doing on social media, what pace people at the same age as you are doing. Sometimes it can make you feel like you're behind. Sometimes you feel like you're not where you thought you would be at this stage. But realistically, you're doing things at your own pace. And that's actually okay. You don't need to do them at somebody else's pace. I'm a bit of a believer that life has a plan. I look at how complex things are. I find it hard to think there's not a plan. Like how amazing the human body is, for example, and how lots of things that go wrong with plants and things like that can fix us. Even the simple things like nettles, you get stung by a nettle and normally there's a dock leaf growing nearby. I mean, I don't know, I just find stuff like that really fascinating, but I'm thinking more along the lines of it's okay to be where you're at. And sometimes I think we beat ourselves up over not being far enough ahead or not having achieved this, or maybe you wanted to get married and you're not married yet. And I believe things find you when you're ready. That isn't to say we don't have any autonomy over our own lives, because I completely believe we have lots of autonomy over our lives. Every decision we make takes us to the next step. I also feel like things take time for a reason. And we really don't need to rush.
So if you're listening and you're feeling like you're being left behind in work or in relationships, in healing, or even just becoming the person you'd hoped to be, just take a deep breath and try and focus on the now. You are where you're meant to be right now. Doesn't mean you'll always be there. Doesn't mean you won't find a way to get yourself to where you want to be. But right now, I think it helps to just lean into where we're at. Take all the pressures off. Slow it down. We have to remember as well that sometimes we look around and see everybody else achieving what they want to achieve, or getting themselves to a place in life where they're happy, figuring things out, getting somewhere. We don't really know what's going on in their lives. There's one thing we all do know these days, which is that social media is not a good indication of how somebody else's life is being lived right now. Oh, there we go. Everybody's path has a different rhythm. I mean, when you think about it, not everybody has the same kind of upbringing. Some people have really tough upbringings. And it stands to reason that maybe it's going to take them a bit longer to get to where they need to get to. Sometimes you've got to think the fact you're still holding on is enough. For me right now, it's just about getting through this puzzle. That's enough. I think when we look back on our lives, we can see there are times when we've had big changes to deal with and big shifts, and then times when it's been a smaller change or a smaller shift. But I believe that each little step we take is a step closer to getting ourselves to where we need to be. Where do you go? I'm struggling with you. Let's put you up there till we can find your home. We've all had times when things have felt really heavy, and just getting out of bed is enough. Having one honest conversation with somebody can feel enough. Setting ourselves one small boundary. Sometimes that's enough. And that can be quite a big shift actually when you set yourselves a boundary. Just thinking, no, I'm not accepting that anymore from now on. When this happens, this is how it's going to go down. Knowing yourself and who you are and what you believe in. That can be a big shift. Just remember all those small things that we do. Getting out of bed, setting a boundary. They all count too. It's not all the big stuff that's important. Quite often it's those little decisions that can have the biggest impact, getting you to where you want to be. So next time you find yourself comparing your reality to somebody else's highlight reel on Insta or on TikTok, just remind yourself that most of what you see isn't real. Create this content to get likes and subscribes and all that kind of thing. Doesn't necessarily mean they're having the best life ever. They don't promote always the sad things or the difficult parts or the bits they've had to do to get them to that point. So you don't really get to see the big picture. You don't see them when they're having their doubts at 2 a.m. or wanting to give it all up and start again. So when you start feeling behind, just remember that you're measuring your whole life against somebody's best day, potentially. Mm. It's getting a bit tricky now because it's so dark here. Mm. 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 Sometimes all we need is a little bit of time to pause, to breathe, to take stock of where we're at. To allow us to sit and think, am I going in the right direction? Am I happy? What's my end goal? Taking that time out and really reflecting on where you're at. It's really, really helpful, because we all get stuck on the wrong path sometimes, and it can be very hard to change. I know it can be for me. My character is the type that doesn't like to give up. But unfortunately, at times, that's made me stick in situations that haven't been that great. But over time I've realised that doesn't do me any good. A few bits going in. I don't think the impact is generally a negative impact on me. So I've got a lot better in that area of my life. Just because you're taking your time or you're going slower than other people doesn't mean you're going nowhere. Doesn't mean you won't reach your goal. Just means you're taking a bit more time. Maybe you're being protective over yourself. You haven't really worked out exactly where you want to be yet. And all of those things are okay. Is that jar? Right. Oh, look at that. Lovely. I suppose it's quite similar to a puzzle, really. You're just slowly building the pieces. Sometimes you try things out, you put them in and they don't fit. And it's okay. Just keep trying different pieces until you find what does fit. The trick is to just not give up. Keep building. See, they're getting less and less pieces. You can think how many we've tried in different spots that haven't actually worked.
and it's been okay. Because then after a bit of time and a bit of effort and trying, we'll just simply putting different bits in different places, we've eventually found the right fit. Not sure about you. You are not the right fit. It's also funny because some people are doing 200-piece puzzles. People are doing 500-piece puzzles. Some people are doing 5,000-piece puzzles. It's quite similar to life, really, because some people can get there quicker, get their happiness earlier, get to where they want to be. And others can take a bit longer. But the important thing is not to beat yourself up, not to compare yourself, not to feel like you're failing just because you think somebody else has got there quicker than you. And to also remember that what you see isn't always the reality of what's going on. I'd love to hear what you think of these videos, whether you find them helpful, relaxing. I guess my aim is just to create a quiet space. Remind you that you're not alone. I spent a lot of my adult life feeling very alone. So if I can help create a safe space for you to come, so you can feel less alone, that would be great. That's all I really want to achieve, to be honest. You can see you're nearly there, can't you? It's exciting when it's the last bits. I suppose that's quite similar to life as well, really. Once you get into those last
bits. Well, I'm sure you were going to go in there. Not happening, is that? Where do you belong? I just can't find you. So weird. But yeah, when you get to those, when you get to the last, bits of working out what it is you want and where you're going, that's probably when you get to the exciting bit and you start to fall into place. See if that, oh, look at that. That goes on there. I'm sure it should go on there, but it doesn't. There we go. That's you. So there are some key bits of the chair missing. Let's see if we can. That's one. Let's have a look over here. See if we can. No. Go in there. That's fine. And the little soldier guy goes there. And then. And we all in the briefcase just there. Yep. And then we've got the green bit, but I'm not quite sure where you're coming in. Definitely a bit of chair by the looks of it, but I think it might fit there. Yeah. Perfect. I feel like I should be finding these chair bits easier. I don't know why. Oh, there's one. Okay, that's helped. There's one. No. It's got a big. There we go. Now that's definitely there. And that definitely there. Here we go. I'd love to see pictures of what you're working on. you're doing a puzzle as well. I'm always looking for puzzle recommendations. Mm. Move these bits over now because I don't think we need 2 trays anymore, which is fantastic. That's up that bit, yeah. Should make it easier now. Okay, so that's coming in there as well. Where do you go? Okay, we'll come back to you. Another piece that doesn't want to go in just yet because it's not ready. Well, it's getting exciting as we're getting down to the last few pieces. I do love this part of the puzzle. Feels like it's finally coming to the right conclusion. Oh, look. Little cat, look. it's lovely getting the last few bits, and I just really enjoy that feeling as it's starting to finish off. Maybe that is the takeaway for today. Doesn't matter where you start. Doesn't matter where you're at right now. You're working towards completion. And that is where the final piece goes in. Thank you so much for joining me today, puzzlers. See you again soon.